Ambassador De La Gasca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Elaine.
When Ecuador started its term on the UN Security Council, the war in Ukraine was well underway. You joined during the time when Ecuador took the presidency of the Security Council, and also by then, the conflict in Gaza was also happening. So if we look back, it's probably been one of the busiest years the UN Security Council has seen in its history. So what has been your country's role during this turbulent time?
I think in a polarized world with many conflicts, especially with the ones you mentioned, Ukraine, Gaza, our mission and our objective is always to serve as a bridge for consensus, as a vehicle of peace, as my president said. So that's what we've been trying to do in every single aspect that we have in the council.
Tell us more about your efforts to end the violence in Gaza and work toward a ceasefire. I mean, the world has been looking at the Security Council for solutions. We know that Ecuador even sent its vice president as a permanent peace envoy to Israel.
As you may recall, in December, I was parachuted directly in the chair of the Security Council. Then we had Article 99 invoked by the Secretary General. It didn't pass. But after that, a momentum was created. Well, I even personally traveled to the Rafah crossing with among other members of the Security Council, and we saw, firsthand what was happening there. What was happening in a humanitarian aspect with the trucks, with the people. So that changed your view, especially after what you've seen, you need to do something. That month, thanks to UAE, which was trying to enforce a resolution, it passed. It was 2720, a humanitarian resolution. We created a mechanism in Gaza for the humanitarian aid. And I think after that, that's been, something that guides us. But not only in a humanitarian situation. The role that every E10 member has played within the Gaza problem because of the risk of a spillover effect. I think it's been crucial.
You mentioned spillover effect. We're seeing now a situation with Lebanon. Is there any hope, any optimism on your part as you have these continual discussions within the Security Council that things could get a little better soon?
Yes, I do think so. Right now, we're working on something. I think we have had a collective voice, unanimous voice, for instance, in support of the Secretary General, in support of UNIFIL. And now we're seeking for something else. But I think sometimes these type of process, they grew up in baby steps sometimes, but they go forward. And that's important message that we need to send. We are working on it. We are finding consensus, and we are seeking our way to peace.
During Ecuador's term as president of the Security Council, you held a couple of signature events. One dealt with transnational crime, and the other dealt with small arms, which when you look at some of these issues compared to the conflicts and the wars going on, they might not get as much attention, but your country has been in the middle of all this. You have firsthand knowledge. So tell us a little bit about these initiatives.
Threats to peace and international peace and security can come everywhere. We can be exhausted trying to find the root causes. But in our regions, in some regions, we have a specific, diseases, specific plagues. Some of it are related to international organized crime, so or the traffic of light and small weapons. So we thought that it was a good idea to bring that discussion, to take it as something that the Security Council need to pay attention. We have that discussion, and now everyone is thinking that organized crime can swift to terrorism, that can rapidly can become or is definitely a threat to international peace and security. So that was, that was our point, to try to give the attention that these realities in different regions can create, and that we can become a window of opportunity for this type of groups and gangs. So you can see what happened in Haiti. You can see what is happening in my own country, which we are fighting a war against organized international crime. So this is something that we believe that the international community needs to pay attention and needs to address immediately.
Your country, as you mentioned, has a strong voice and is really working toward finding solutions to what has been happening in Haiti. Tell us about the proposals that you've brought forth when it comes to the security crisis there.
Well, yes, there are many crises. It's a multidimensional crisis. We care for the Haitian people, and we care for Haiti. So our responsible within the region is that to show that this region is a region of peace, but we don't leave anyone behind. So Haiti have our support, the United States support, and the international community support. And within our term, we've managed to pass the BINU resolution, the renewal of the BINU resolution, the MSS authorization, and the sanctions even renewal. So and all of that by consensus. So that shows international community that we can get together and that we can see in the same line when it comes to peace and security, and when it comes to working together for achieving some goals. And we think that the collaboration of the international community, for instance, Kenya, is key. But we also advocate that the international community can still help Haiti because of the funds that we need to wage this operation and to make it successfully. We need Haiti to be a successful story for the UN and for the world.
There have been some proposals to reform the Security Council. That is nothing new, but there has been a push by African nations to have representation, 2 permanent seats on the UN Security Council, as well as a handful of other non-permanent seats. What do you make of expanding the Security Council?
The picture that was taken almost 80 years ago is no longer the picture of the world that we have today. So we need something to reflect the actual world that we have today. The new members, the new important rising powers that we have in the planet. So I think a shift in the structure of the UN, it's necessary. I do believe that the council needs to change and needs to be more inclusive of some countries, that we need to have a voice, especially within the E10 members, within the elected members. It's just one world and many countries, and we all need to be there. Not all, but we need to be more represented within the regions.
When we look at the Security Council, Ecuador sits next to China. What have you learned during your time on Security Council, just being colleagues together, working together?
China always to my right, yes. And in my time, I have the privilege to work with 2 permanent representatives from China, and both of them have taught me a lot. They always are very, very focused, very serious about the job and about their position, very responsible, and taking care of their perspective from the charter. But also to our left, I have friends. So it's always good to see the balance between the P5 and the positions that we're having there. So yes, I mean, I've learned a lot from them.
Ambassador Jose De La Gasca, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.